What's happening, folks? So we got to talk, man. I'm not gonna make this no 5 minute video. I usually try to make them like 10 minutes or so because I know people's attention span is really short. But there's some things that I just got to get off my chest so that I can move on. Right? I'm not going to necessarily call out people's channels because if I'm not mistaken, it's one of those things where you can see the channels that I watch, the videos that I watch, and you pretty much know what I'm talking about um, by my title, right? And I wanted to talk about the whole black man, black women thing. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because lately, like the couple of videos, I've shared my daughter in the video and my son, and I have two other sons that are younger. And I oftentimes incorporate my wife, just so y'all can see I'm a real person. Uh, I don't have a super edited channel. I don't have all the fancy gadgets and stuff, at least not yet. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll work on that. But my thing is, I'm trying to understand why is there so much division and combativeness between the two. I have not seen no. I don't want to compare because it's one thing that I stay away from. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay away from comparisons. Stay away from comparisons from black, white, Asian, Middle Eastern, all of that stuff. I try not to compare, and the reason why I try not to compare is because everybody's circumstance is different. And when you are wise, you realize that what you see is only about that much of what reality really is. Right? The more you know that you don't know. Um, but I will make small comparisons here and there by saying this statement. I don't see other races or cultures of people going at each other within their relationship or dating dynamic like I do with the black community. And it's mind boggling, really, honestly. I don't know if it has to do with technology or social media or the influence of the way society is supposed to be or what it is. I don't know what the dynamic is, but I will point some things out. There are a lot of people that are misinformed about what it means to be in a relationship. That's number one. Number one is dating is not a relationship. Dating is just what it sounds like. You are dating a woman to get to know her from the man's perspective. And then I can't really speak from a woman's perspective. I'm not a woman. So I'll speak from the man's perspective. Dating is strictly you getting to know a person that you may think about being in a relationship with. If your purposes of dating are anything else other than that, then you open yourself up to a plethora of good and bad because there's duality in life, right? And that's one of the principal foundations that you need to learn. I teach my kids this all the time: duality, good, bad, left, right, up, down. There's a duality in everything. So there can be some things in your life that are not necessarily good or bad. It's just opposite of each other, but one can't exist without the other, right? Men can't exist without women, women can't exist without men. So once you understand those foundational principles, words are spells, there's duality in life. You gotta know the more you know that you don't know, things like that. When you start dating and your intentions are to see what you can get out of this person physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And then when you don't get what you want, you move on to the next person. You open yourself up to a plethora of good and bad. You messing with people's emotions, right? And it can turn out bad. Now, here's where it gets worse. When you're dating somebody and you mix up dating and relationship things and you bring a child into it. Now, whether you have a child with the person, like I have a child together, or there's already children and they're coming into the relationship. When you incorporate that dynamic, you can't cross up dating and relationship. A relationship is you trying to build with somebody. You know what I mean? And when I say build, I don't mean the cliche build because we're gonna get, this business and this business. We're gonna build our empire. We're gonna be millionaires. No, not that aspirational stuff. When I say build, I mean build each other. You're gonna build her, and she's gonna build you. You're gonna be a better man because of her. She's gonna be a better woman because of you. And y'all are gonna walk out every situation in life, and y'all are gonna understand that there's gonna be ups and downs, right? And if you decide to be in a relationship with a person, the end result of that relationship is marriage, whether that's marriage on paper, legal, go down to the courthouse, have marriage in the church, or whether you're married together spiritually and you don't need all of the paperwork. But that's the end result. And if your end result is anything outside of that, then you are in the wrong sector of life. You can't cross those things up because when you do, you mutate what it should be. You mutate the good and you make it bad. So once you make it bad for yourself, you project all of that hate and hurt and discontent onto other people, and you think that the world is a way that it really isn't. It is for you because you made it that way. You manifested those things, and that kind of kicks me over into like another compartment because they say men compartmentalize, right? Well, it kicks me over into another compartment of this conversation between men and for men and women, that when you kick over into that other compartment being, can't go there yet. So anyways, you bring the kids into the situation that changes things, right? You have that hurt, you have that pain, and because the relationship didn't work out because it wasn't done right, right? And now if the relationship didn't work out and you brought a baby into the relationship, meaning you two came together, and now the relationship splits apart, and now you are co-parenting. That is not modern day anything. You can say what you want because people are quick to be like, oh, that's the way the new times are. Nah, that is not the way new times are. You are doing a disservice to that child or children. They need both mother and father full time as much as possible, right? Not co-parenting, not living in two different households. And there's sometimes where there's things that you can't control. So I understand that. And things that you can't control, like a death or something of that nature, excuse me. But as far as abusiveness and stuff like that, there are always telltale signs on whether or not a person is going to be abusive to you. Now, people say that a lot as a cliche, but it is really the truth because you really can tell if you're paying attention to the person that you're courting in order to be in a relationship with, and you're not infatuated with them. See, people get love and infatuation mixed up all the time. And people think that love doesn't exist. Oh, love doesn't exist. I don't need love in a relationship. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And if you can't do those things, then we just gonna split up. Then you're not looking for a relationship. You're not looking to court. You're not looking to date. You're looking for a business partner. And that's always going to end up bad because you know what's in the middle of business? If you spell it out, sin. Sin is in the middle of business. So you can make it a little sin or you can make it a capital sin, right? In the middle of that just business. And everything around that is detrimental. You're going to tear your kids apart. They're not going to be able to tell you offhand because they're kids. They can't tell you offhand. So if this is you and you went down that road, then you need to do some self-evaluating, and you can fix the situation, right? You can fix the situation because for single mothers, you can keep a positive male figure in that child's life. This is when you put them in sports, extracurricular activities. Of course, highly scrutinize the people that you keep your kids around as far as coaches and stuff goes, but they need that other dynamic. And when they don't have that other dynamic, they lean too far to one side emotionally and mentally, right? Because it's hard for them to gauge certain things. And then they pay more attention to you than you think you do because they have nothing else to balance it out. There's no duality for them, there's no feminine and masculine for them, right? Because you're giving them an overabundance of feminine. So when you're flipping out, when you're clapping your hands, snapping your fingers, or you're arguing down some bill collector, or you're fussing with somebody on the side of the road, they pay a monumentous amount of attention to that because they don't have anything else to balance it out. Now, when there's something there to balance it out, like you keep a positive male figure around, and I'm speaking because this is what my mom did. She was a single mother, right? There was no co-parenting. You know why I wasn't no co-parenting? Because my father was mixed up in a whole bunch of other stuff, and he couldn't come and see me. And when I say mixed up and stuff, I mean legal ramifications and stuff like that, right? I ain't got to go into it like that, but public records show things. Um, and my stepdad was abusive. He was beating on her, so she had to separate, right? So she's a single mother out there with 3 kids. And this is where I always take offense to the men who always talk about don't date single mothers. Don't date single mothers because she's out there hoeing and she's a thought and she's all of these things. And they make these generalizations about women. And keep in mind, I'm only talking about Black people. I'm not talking about no other demographic because as much as I search through YouTube, and I'm on YouTube quite a bit, maybe like 8 to 9 hours out of the day because I'm a driver. I'm a truck driver. They always make these generalizations and they lump every single Black mother in together, right? As far as circumstantial. And they feel like they have it down. You know what I'm saying? And then you tell them they're wrong and they'll go at you. Oh, don't tell me I'm wrong on my platform. Get on your own platform. You ain't even got that many subscribers. These are dudes. These are dudes that are defining whether right and wrong is right or wrong by how many subscribers you get. So whatever the information is that I present to you, if I don't have a certain number of subscribers, then my information becomes irrelevant. I mean, really listen to that. So if the sky is blue and I tell you it's blue, but I only have 2 subscribers, then the sky is obviously green. That is the dumbest logic in the world. And only men can accomplish that. Only men, for whatever reason, only Black men that I've listened to can accomplish calling something stupid because it's based on your subscribers. Somehow women aren't that petty or whatever you want to call it. So back to this. My mom was raising the 3 of us, right? And we went through all types of things because men had that mentality of not dating single women, right? And when they did, they were always trying to come to my mom to get something and would get mad when she wouldn't give it to them, right? You know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of keeping it PG because my kids are right there. Say hi, kids. Hi. Yeah. But anyways, when they couldn't get what they wanted out of her because she's a respectable woman, now she's all types of names, everything under the sun. Everybody wants to be like this, that, and the third. That's why you this, and that's why you that. And it's amazing how when people can't manipulate you, they will turn to slander you like that. All right, it's human nature. There's nothing wrong with dating single moms. There's something wrong with you when you're going into dating these single moms and you're expecting 100% attention on you as if she doesn't have kids already, right? As if she doesn't have other things to worry about, as if she can even trust you in her life with her children, right? It's not a bash on Black men. It's not a bash on Black women. It's just what reality is. So I'm gonna speed this up. So, anyways, the problem that I have is that black women have this generalization about black men and what they are and what they're not, what they do and don't accomplish, what they will and won't do, how they will and won't treat you. And the generalization comes from things that they're not even a part of, right? You're not a part of a relationship, but you're going to tell all 12,000 of your followers that relationships are toxic, relationships are bad. When the man does this in a relationship, I know. And why do you know? Are you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship that does those things? And are you giving these pointers out to better somebody so that when they get into the next relationship, they know the signs, they know what to look for, they know what to appreciate, and they know how to cultivate and keep that relationship? Or are you saying this because you're trying to steer them away? Because you have a responsibility, right? You have a duty. You got 12,000 followers, you got 50,000 followers, you got 100,000 followers. Listen to that word. Words of spells, right? That was the first thing I said to you as far as dynamic goes. Words of spells. Followers. That word followers. When you get up here and you start speaking, doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or not, right? Doesn't matter if your information is documented and facts, yo, facts, B. All of that bravado, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you want to know why it doesn't matter? Because whatever you say out of your mouth to your followers is gospel to them, because y'all have commonalities. That's why they follow you. Not because what you're saying is the truth, it's the most righteous thing on the internet and ain't nobody doing it like you and all of this stuff. Cut it out. Cut it out. There's 12,000 other people. When you have followers, guess what? There's 12,000 other people that agree with your logic, that agree with the type of person that you are, and they have certain similarities, which is why they follow you, right? They follow you, but you're not a leader. You want to know why you're not a leader? Because you would rather rely on just knowledge than you would wisdom. You don't know when to apply the knowledge. So you get to speaking out of turn about things. Now, understand that I'm speaking to black men and black women collectively. There was a time where I was naive when I was young in my relationship. And, my wife's not here right now. She's with my other two sons in their basketball game, or our other two sons in the basketball game. But she'll tell you, we were both young and dumb. We were both naive. We both had to learn together. But that was the thing. When we got together, when we were courting each other, no physicality involved, no none of that stuff. Just dating each other, just going out, having a good time, going out in town, laughing, joking, finding things, talking to each other, trying to get to know each other, get to know each other's backstories and backgrounds. And what is your family like? Oh, you got a credit. Talked about the worst of times, because like I told y'all in the other video about me, I came from the hood, I came from the ghetto, came from roaches, rats, evictions, all of that stuff, food stamps, Section 8, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't know that stuff, but once she found it out, it changes how she talks. You understand what I'm saying? There's certain things that she just doesn't go. She doesn't trample in that type of area because she knows what I've been through, right? And vice versa. The more she puts into me, the more I put into her. Vice versa, right? Nobody's left unattended to, spiritually and emotionally, right? And mentally, not just physically. Physically is the last thing that should be on your mind when you're finding that part, when you have that person that you truly care about. And that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about, as far as the dating goes. If you think that you have to appeal to every woman, you're wrong. You're sadly mistaken. If you think you have to appeal to every man, you're sadly mistaken. And for whatever reason, this culture teaches that once you get into a relationship, you have to, one, get in a relationship with a person who everybody else wants to be in a relationship with. Two, when you get in that relationship, you have to make sure that you still got it. You still appealing to everybody else. Even though you're in a committed relationship, you're trying to appeal to the masses, the society. You got to be up on this and up on that. Makeup got to be done. My hair got to be right. And I got to get this fresh edge up and line up and stuff like that. And you love the compliments and attention from other people, but not the person you're in a relationship with. You have the wrong idea about relationships. You have the wrong idea about dating. You have the wrong idea about interconnectivity, being interdependent upon one another. Right? And so this is wisdom. right? This is not just knowledge, it's wisdom. It helps knowing when to apply that knowledge and stuff. And I've been able to be in a relationship for 16 years. I've been able to be in a marriage for 12 years, right? Walk every step of the way with this person, good and bad, great and horrible. The duality. But we build each other up. We're better than we were when we were 19, 20, 21 years old. All right, we got four wonderful, beautiful, smart, attentive, obedient, talented kids. Don't have no issues out of them. They're normal children, right? Well, I can't even say normal children because I don't know what the standard of normal is today. My kids are away from that, but not in the bad way. We give them that both, that masculine and that feminine. But the masculine and the feminine comes from the both of us, right? So when she needs to be a disciplinarian and she needs to show a little bit of masculine energy because I'm at work or something like that, and she has to discipline the children and be stern with them, that's what she does. But it's in the feminine type of way, right? And when I got to show tough love, but also let them know that it's okay for my boys to express emotion. If they feel so strongly about something that they got to cry about it, I'm not gonna tell them, "Oh, you gonna cry, you suck it up." Nah, I'll let you get it out, get your emotions out, and then embrace that and tell me how you feel. Talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind from a little kid perspective. Don't tell me what you think you want. Do you think I want to hear? These are very important things to the development of their psyche as they grow up. These are things that my mom did with me, that my mom did with my little brother and my sister. She always made sure that we were using our brains 100% of the time. And she always, even though she was in a relationship after my stepdad, she made sure she kept positive male figures around us. So whether that was sports, whether that was, chorus or, orchestra or something like that, whatever extracurricular activity she could find that had a decent male figure, that's where we were at. Not just church. And people have such an issue with church. I don't go to church that much, but I do believe in God. Now, all the rest of the stuff that comes along with it, the whole man-made stuff, that stuff I don't deal with. I deal with the principles, right? Principles of the Bible. It's funny because I hear people speaking the principles of the Bible all the time and they just change it around. They may quote something different, but all old ancient text mirrors each other. So whatever text you're speaking from, there's just some universal foundational principles that if you don't ingratiate that into the person that you are, then you're going to have a hard time in this life. You really are. Life is not meant to be that hard. Life is meant to be a positive experience. And you're supposed to embrace the ups and the downs because those failures is what help you. Those failures help you to cultivate and learn and move past something, help you to overcome, how to jump over obstacles. Without those failures, you can't move forward in life. You can't succeed at anything. There's not one person on this planet that is successful that has not failed numerous amounts of times. And they can tell you they can't even count it anymore how many times they failed. But because they were able to persevere, they succeeded in the end. And we're missing that. Everybody wants to take the shortcut, the short way. I want to get rich. I don't want to work for it. I want to work smarter, not harder. Well, who says that working smarter means being lazy and not doing anything? The other thing is, I hate the generalizations. I really hate the fact that it is so rampant because, again, I have a daughter. I hate to hear Black women say, Black men are toxic masculinity. Black men aren't going to do this. You need to open up your options and date interracially. And this is only said by women who have been hurt by Black men. They're not going to tell you that they've been hurt by Black men all the time because it's an embarrassing thing to sit there and say, I've been hurt, and this is why I have this view. They're not going to tell you that. And even if they do, they're not going to tell you everything. Because one thing that you have to understand about human nature is self-preservation. And in that preservation of self, they will lie or they will omit certain things. So they'll say, I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you, if you talk to them in person. It's always crazy to hear that thing. But that's something we need to get together. We as in the Black people, we need to get that together. You need to take some time and step back from the constant barrage of internet fame and get to know yourself, whatever that takes. Get off of social media for a little while. There are tons of experts out there. There are tons of social media creators, the people who help create Facebook, not just the big name that you see, the Zuckerberg and Tom and all of it. No, there are people who are behind it, the design and marketing and staffing and stuff like that. And those people tell you, they get up on certain little talk shows and stuff. If you search YouTube enough, you'll find it, or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And they'll tell you, social media was meant to get you addicted, to keep you, engaged in it as much as possible. And there are a lot of people that can't handle it because they see things and they swear out that this is reality. And they'll caveat that by saying, I don't watch TV. Well, still media is it's still a form of media. You watching YouTube all the time, right? So there was a point in time where I had to take a step back from all the social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff. And I got back on YouTube, but I haven't been back on Instagram and Facebook because it's not something that I can deal with. It's not something that I can I guess stomach, because I'm not gonna say it like sways me in another direction, but sometimes it makes me upset that you can put something up there and there'll be 75 people, out of 100 that'll come and tell you in the most negative way possible how whatever it is you said is an absolute lie. Even if it's your life and you're living it, they're so quick to tell you you're wrong, and I think that's trash. As far as the Black men go, the Black men that find it relieving, or there's some release they get, this emotional release, and they want to talk about so many of the Black women and what they're doing wrong. And the reason why I talk about Black women so much is because I'm trying to change them. I'm trying to help. I love my sisters. Well, love doesn't talk like that, sir. Love doesn't speak to Black women like that. Love doesn't allow you you may have those thoughts, but they'll never leave your mouth, especially not in the direction of Black women, right? Women cut with the tongue. That's their greatest weapon. So this is their point that they're trying to make to you, even though it comes out raunchy and ratchet, and you feel like she's challenging your masculinity. She's not. She's defending herself against the constant barrage of attacks of you saying Black women are this, and this. And when that Black woman doesn't fit any one of those stereotypes that you laid out, your next thing to say is, oh, well, I mean, you may not fit this, but I'm talking about the majority. I'm talking about the collective. No, you're not. You're not talking about the collective. You're talking what you think you know. And because this person that's sitting in front of you don't fit the bill, you can't say that you're wrong. You can't go back and reevaluate and be a man about it. You got to automatically defend your premise because you're a man. That is damaging to Black women. Just like Black men have been through so much in just the last 80 years. I use my grandmother's age. So just the last 91 years. She died at 91. Black women and Black men have been through hellacious situations and circumstances, things that you can't even imagine. But that's the thing. Black women and Black men have gone through these things together, right? It is hard for somebody to take all of that mental strain and pressure, set it aside, and be the perfect man or woman for you in a relationship, or be the perfect man and woman that they don't need food stamps and Section 8, and they've got money in the bank and they've got their hustle up and they've got their grind. For the people who never been on food stamps, right? Who never been in Section 8, who never been evicted, who never missed a meal, who never went to a dangerous school, who never seen a dead body on the street or in the woods, who never dealt with any of these things, never been stuck in a drive-by, never been on drugs, never been addicted to alcohol. You just never had none of these things happen to you in your life. Kudos, right? Good. I'm glad somebody was looking out for you. But do you realize that at some point in time, you were a child and you were a young child, and then you were adolescent, and then you were a preteen, and then you were a teenager, and then you were a young adult who knew nothing. And because of what somebody before you and around you and in your circle done for you, it kept you from running into the situations that I just spoke about. But do you know on that other end, you know, that duality that I talked about, that foundational principle thing that you need to know that it exists. On the other end, there's people who their surrounding cast and their parents, if they had parents, didn't keep them from any of these things that happen in life. And they ran into it head on. They're probably stronger mentally than you are. They probably can grasp concepts of life that escape you. They understand that problems and situations and circumstances are multifaceted. It is not something that you can say the Black woman had 3 kids because she wanted to be on welfare in Section 8 because she wanted a free ride. That is the most rudimentary, ignorant statement that you can possibly make, especially in the direction of your own. And then you expect her to say, oh, yes, I agree. That is what I was doing. Why would you not expect her to come at you sideways? You just came at her sideways, and you tried to do it in an educated manner. You tried to do it in a way that you belittled them without thinking that they understood that you belittled them. And because they didn't respond back to you in the same way that you belittled them, and they responded to you aggressively, now they're masculine. Now they're toxic. Now they're all combative and stuff. Never minded what you did to them. Never mind what you did to them. Never mind what you said to them or what you thought you was gonna slip past. It's trash. It's trash, men. It's trash. It's trash, women, that you generalize men and think that you can put all Black men in the same category, throw them away in the trash, and hop over there to another demographic of men, and your life is going to be peaches and cream, right? Because if you're talking about toxic masculinity, I didn't hear a race or an ethnicity in that definition or in that term, in that cliche that everybody's throwing around. That means that this toxic masculinity can come from any race or culture or ethnic background or demographic or social class or socioeconomic class. Doesn't matter what man you get. If that man was raised in that type of toxic environment, then chances are he's going to display that toxic masculinity that you're talking about. You can't pick and choose and skip over things that you want to skip over just to make your point, because your point is not the universal point. It's not the universal law of anything. If you want to date somebody outside your race, then date somebody outside your race. Why do all 12,000 of your followers need to date with you? If you want to be in a relationship, be in a relationship. But know what a relationship is. Know the difference between love and infatuation. Know the difference between love and being in love. If you don't have those, you're really not fit to be with another person. Courting them, you're not fit to be with them physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. You should just be by yourself. Work, study, learn, get your money, save, stack, do your thing by yourself. Don't drag nobody else into your little universe trying to control them, because what that thing does to you, one of the things that terminology does to you, you know, etymology of word. When you study the etymology of words and you start to understand how words are put together in conjunction, what's the root word and why is it the root word? What is its origin? You know, what other words are synonyms to that word in other languages? When you start going into that stuff, you understand that there's certain things that will draw people in different ways. Weak-minded people love to be in control of other people because it gives them a feeling of strength. It gives them a feeling of running some things, right? And when they feel like they run some things, then they're more apt to be nice. And it's kind of like a fake humbling, you know, fake being humble and all of that stuff. They always, oh yes, I'm so appreciative. I love the fact that you. Yeah, that's because you're doing what they want you to do. But when you step outside of that realm, then they show you their true self, and they can't stand the fact that you don't want to listen to them. That's one thing that social media, especially this, has done, is that it created an echo chamber, and the echo chamber is magnified by the number of followers or subscribers that you have. The more you have, the more the echo chamber goes around, and the more it builds you up on yourself, and you become an idolizer of yourself. Right? You become more selfish than selfless. And once you do that, then everything has to be about you. And this is what people think self-love is, which if you go to my podcast, Perspective Wisdom on Anchor, I talk just a little bit. I kind of lightly touch on what self-love really is. People don't understand what self-love really is. And it's not as simple as just, you know, loving what you see in the mirror. And you know, this, no, there's a fine line between self-love and narcissism. And if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But the last thing I'm going to touch on is these issues that we're having, that we're focusing the attention on each other instead of focusing the attention on the real problem, on the true problem. You cannot focus attention on R. Kelly situation and say that this is why we have all of these things, and use the R. Kelly situation to start making all of these points that are rudimentary in their beginnings. Anyways, you don't know enough, right? You only want to hearken to the fact that he's a pedophile. Not that, no, allegedly. Let me say allegedly, because I don't want no legal ramifications or anything like that. But you only want to hearken to that point. But you don't want to hearken to the point that he was sexually abused as a kid himself. That never crossed your mind to talk about any of that, because you don't care. You don't care. You don't care that he's a pedophile either. It's just a talking point for you. It's just a way for you to get more viewers and more people on your side. That's all. That's the only reason why it's hitting you. It's not hitting you because you have a daughter, you know, because if it was hitting you because you have a daughter, you wouldn't even speak on it, because you wouldn't want any of that energy in your realm. I don't even want to speak on it because I don't want anything like that to my daughter. I'm not going to tell you what I am going to do and what I would do if this happens now, because I am careful with my words. I'm careful what I speak out into the atmosphere, into the universe, for all of those people who are super spooky spiritual. What I watch, what I say, because words are spells, right? And there's another foundation, the principle that is taught in my house. Be careful what you say. You got two ears, two eyes, one mouth. You look and you listen twice as much as you speak. And there's my other kids. Hey, can y'all be quiet for like 5 more minutes? Let me finish up my video. Let me finish my video. So, anyways, um, I'm gonna have to end it on that. But it's been one of those things that just been irking me. Like I said, I'm not gonna call out anybody's page. You can go down the list and look at it yourself. What's up? What up? What's up? So it's it was just on my mind because, like I said, I'm always looking to figure out what I can do to make my kids' life better, what I can do to make my wife's life better, what I can do to make my sisters, my aunts, my uncles, cousins, all of that stuff life better. You know, what can I learn? and what can I sit and meditate on so that I can work on this wisdom so that I can regurgitate it back to them in the way that it needs to be. What can I correct in my immediate circle? I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to make sure that the world that I live in is a better place. And sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes it takes a lot to push through that mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Not so much physically, because physically we can do a whole bunch of things, but you can't do the physical unless your mind and your spirit is right. They're in tune with each other. So you need that. But for black men, stop shooting your black women down with your words and your actions. For black women, stop shooting your black men down with your words and your actions. If anything, if you're gonna take anything from another demographic or culture or race of people, take the fact that you're not gonna see an abundance of them going at each other, especially not on social media. Get out from behind the computer desk and go outside in life and live some life. Go meet some people outside of your neighborhood, outside of your city. Drive 2.5 hours and go to the town out there. Go hang with some country folks. Go when you're driving past those little country towns, because there's a lot of them out here in Georgia, and you see somebody sitting on their porch, pull over to the side of the road. Say hi to else. You know what I'm saying? Go to a Walmart somewhere far away and go shop in that store. Get out and go into these other demographics. And if you have a problem with food stamps, Section 8, and WIC and all of that stuff and single mothers, how about you slide yourself to the ghetto and see what's going on there? You got all these thousands of dollars in your bank account. How about you buy one of them a meal and see what it takes to feed those kids and stuff like that? How about you talk to them, see what their circumstances situation is. How about you use some of your connections, since you're a baller and you're an entrepreneur and you're a hustler and all of this stuff? How about you use some of those connections to get some of them jobs? How about you talk to them and build relationships and stop denigrating them and downplaying them because of the circumstance that they're in? And understand that sometimes people mindsets are the way they are because of the circumstance and the situation that they're in. And that will mold you. It will break you. It will bust your pipes, or it will turn you into a diamond and make you succeed. But those chances are very slim to none. Those people that come from all of the stuff that I just told you I came from, and they end up being super successful in the eyes of society, because societal success and personal success are eons apart from each other. They're not the same. They're not in the same universe. What you need to be successful to everybody else is not what you need to be successful to yourself. Y'all get it together, man. Because it's sad to see that. It's sad to see to click on the YouTube and go and check my little feeds and stuff like that, and to see black men and black women constantly at each other's throats about what one is not doing and what the other's not doing, and how the relationships are messed up and black love is dead. These are the most toxic things. That's toxic. That's toxicity right here. Forget all the carcinogens and food and meat, and you gotta go vegan, and forget all the smoke, and you gotta exercise and diet right. How about you talk nice to one another, or don't say nothing to each other at all? So, with that being said, uh, I don't expect you to leave any comments. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. I'll respond back to you. And yeah, have a good day, man. Just meditate on this. Think about it for a little while before you jump into your feelings and start reacting. Understand that I'm not bashing nobody. I'm not calling nobody out, but I am holding men and women accountable for what you need to do for this future generation, for those little ones. Talk to y'all later.